Shalom, shalom. All right. So, before we get started, I want to play a little video right quick. While we wait on some people to get up in here. Y'all like the video, share it. Like and share the video. And watch this.
Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. Happy Thanksgiving, America. I'm Donna, and I'm here with my friends to tell you the real history behind this holiday. Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. That's not the true story. The true story behind Thanksgiving was, after every killing of a whole village, these European settlers celebrated it, and they called it Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln became president that it became an official holiday. He ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung for war crimes after the sacred holiday Christmas. We take this time to remember our elders who lost their lives due to what really happened. Usually my mom makes a Native American dish for us and we pray. Growing up, I would be kind of annoyed that they didn't know what actually happened on Thanksgiving and that they're actually celebrating the deaths of many people and many tribes that were lost.
Whether it's to give thanks or to be with your family, you should learn how the holiday was established in the first place.
I'm thankful for being born indigenous to this continent. I'm thankful that I still have my culture.
I'm thankful that my elders kept our culture alive all these years.
I'm thankful to be indigenous, resilient, and alive. I'm thankful for us all to be able to stand together, stand strong, and stand as one. Happy Thanksgiving, America.
Alright. So, as y'all can see, we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving today. Obviously, because it's this week. What's going on with my screen? There we go. Alright. Sorry about my lighting. Had to move my seat today. So, next week it'll be a little bit better. But, Shalom. We are the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It is our prayer and heart's desire that all Israel might be saved. Basically, let me see if I can fix that. Basically, though, we will be speaking about Thanksgiving, as you all see. So what you will need for the class, as usual, we'll need a notepad, right? I ain't put no notes on that one today, though. Got them on somewhere else. Of course, your apocrypha, your Bible. Bible apocrypha, and your concordance. All right. So, let me see what's going on. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. Don't play that. Hey, it's a lot of background noise. All right, here we go. Play the video one more time. Let me see if I get a light in here real quick. All right. Let's see if I get a light while I do that.
Happy Thanksgiving, America. I'm Donna, and I'm here with my friends to tell you the real history behind this holiday. Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. It's not the true story. The true story behind Thanksgiving was after every killing of a whole village, these European settlers celebrated it, and they called it Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln became president that it became an official holiday. He ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung for war crimes
after the sacred holiday Christmas.
We take this time to remember our elders who lost their lives due to what really happened. Usually my mom makes a Native American dish for us and we pray.
Growing up, I would be kind of annoyed that they didn't know what actually happened on Thanksgiving and that they're actually celebrating the deaths of many people and many tribes that were lost. Whether it's to give thanks or to give it to family, you should learn how the holiday was established in the first place. I'm thankful for being born indigenous to this continent.
I'm thankful that I still have my culture.
I'm thankful that my elders kept our culture alive all these years.
I'm thankful to be indigenous, resilient, and alive. I'm thankful for us all to be able to stand together, stand strong, and stand as one.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
Alright, enough of that shopping. Okay, a little bit better. Alright, bet. So, first thing I wanted to point out, if y'all were paying attention to the video, the girls were talking about their culture, which we know is something that they don't have anymore. So, wait, what? Okay. You don't gotta block the crazy dude with the weird name. Jelani, I think is what his name is, or whatever. The dude talking about we paid off by somebody. I'd like you to tell me who we paid off by. Uh, Jelani Bond 58 or whatever your name is, right? That what you just typed in the chat don't even make no damn sense. But on another note, we're here to talk about Thanksgiving. As y'all see, the scoffer level gonna be heavy. Played that video just to make the Negro onlys mad. You know what I'm saying? Played it twice for them. But as y'all see, like I said, we're gonna be talking about the people today, the folks, Tribe of Gad, right, and Seminole Indians, Tribe of Reuben as well. Just basically to give a little bit of insight on this Folly Day that's coming up, right, and why it's celebrated. We had a video on the channel in the past that explained this, but it got deleted with the last channel, so it was a camp video. It was a little bit of a better setting, but we're gonna go ahead and get it done today. Also, there was an article that I used to teach the last video that I found earlier in the week, and right before the class start, ironically, the video could not be found anymore. Can't find it. So, or the article. So, it was called The Invention of Thanksgiving and the Truth About Thanksgiving, and it doesn't exist anymore. So, I had to scare the internet, look for a little article that told the truth, because a lot of the stuff out there doesn't really explain to you the real events that happened during Thanksgiving, what the turkey symbolizes, and all that other type of stuff. In fact, I couldn't even find that, but it used to be an article that I had, so I'll briefly explain it. But today you will get the brief history of Thanksgiving, what it's about, and why it shouldn't be celebrated. That way you could have a video to share to your people, you know what I mean, to send to them that are going to be trying to celebrate this Father Day this week, right? And it may not stop them from celebrating it this year, but next year it might, be something that you could start a conversation about since you sent them the video and they watched it, right? So without further ado, hold up. Okay. All right. But let's get Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 first. Because the girls spoke a lot about their culture, right? And we know that if you are somebody who subscribes to the fact that the natives and Hispanics are the Israelites according to the Bible, right? Based on the curses, which some of which we'll go over today, right? If you don't fit the curses of Deuteronomy, then you're not an Israelite. This is fact. If you believe in the Bible, this is something that you have to hold true to. Okay, so but yeah, this is something that we have to hold true to, right? As a people. So, what needs to be done? Okay, are these notifications that throw me up? What needs to be done is um there needs to be a real education process that goes on, right? Because a lot of the people who have a problem with so-called natives and Hispanics being Israelites, they don't really look at the curses, right? One of the curses being a whole folly day that America's made up to basically, make fun of and uh, shed light on a massacre that happened, right, throughout the United States of America. So, um, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. Also, Brother Malachi, if you guys have seen it in the chat, I guess the Watchmen put out a fast this Wednesday. I didn't see it, so I'm not really keen on what's going on. But the brother's been posting it. I guess they sent something on Instagram, so y'all be on the lookout for that. Apparently, Wednesday night to Thursday, brothers are going to be fasting. So if you want to join in on the fast, basically the morning with Gad, you know what I'm saying? Join in on the fast. All right. To become a Patreon member, get pictures, podcast videos, and behind the scene footage at Sons of Thunder Israelites on Patreon. It is in the description section. Also, the Sons of Thunder Israelites Facebook page where you can, see us live on a Saturday for the Sabbath and everything like that. You can catch us there, get notifications, updates, all that type of stuff on the channel as well. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into the lesson, right? So, as I was saying, the girls were talking about their culture and their history as if it's something that they still have, and we know that they don't have it, right? These people don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments anymore. But they think that they have a little bit of their culture and their history because of what they've been able to hold on to since these Thanksgiving killings have happened, right? So, we're going to go over the history a little bit, and by the end of the lesson, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. And somebody else, Deuteronomy 28 and start at verse 49. Go ahead.
Got it. You good for Hosea. You got it.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right. So our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. When I say our people, I'm not just talking about the so-called Negro, right? I'm also talking about the Native Americans and the Hispanics, right? So, and the people that descend from us scattered abroad through the four corners of the earth. We're all destroyed for a lack of knowledge. There's even natives that celebrate Thanksgiving, right? Because they don't know what it's really about. They have been taught BS just like we have been taught BS. The natives in the Native American schools on the reservations, you may think that they get this crazy government funding or whatever. That's not the case, right? A lot of these Negro only people talk about the casinos on the reservations and stuff. There's a video I can show you right now where there's a Native man who went to Congress in 1989, right? And was even telling people on national television in the Congress room that the reservation don't have any benefit towards the Native people, right? The states that the reservation is in gets more benefits off of the off of the casinos on the reservations than the Native Americans do. It's a tax write-off for the state, right? Tax benefits for them. They get a little bit of the money. Well, not a little bit. They get a cut, like probably about 50% of it goes to the state instead of the tribe and, their conditions and stuff like that. So they're not even seeing all the money from these casinos. They're getting a piece of it. And whatever the piece is, has to be distributed through whoever the leaders are and all that type of stuff. And if all the leaders aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, which we know Jake is good at that, right, in America. So certain things won't happen. Certain conditions won't change. So they've been taught that they have the history and that they fully have everything that they need as far, or everything that they've always had and everything they've always known as far as their history and where they come from and stuff like that. And you saw that, two of the girls said that they were thankful for being indigenous to this land, which nobody is indigenous to this land. We all know that, right? So that's more BS that they've had to teach themselves, basically to give them some type of pride for this land because it was once theirs, right? It was once a place that they called home and that they took pride in. But now they can't because there's concrete everywhere, there's crackers everywhere, and they've been pushed into certain depths of the place that nobody else sees. So many people who haven't done any research on natives or aren't native themselves don't really know the conditions that the people live in, right? And they probably think they're living in nice houses in the suburbs and all that type of stuff, and that's not how it is, right? When you see a native in 5 Points, he's drunk and he's homeless, just like the brothers in 5 Points, right? And when you see a native in his natural conditions, he's drunk and he's in a little shack on the reservation. So the conditions are basically the same, right? Just like Jake has the ghettos, right, in the slums in the inner city, the natives have the reservations in the slums in the countryside, right? So it's the same thing. So we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Go ahead, Ak.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Right. So because we have rejected knowledge, the Most High is also going to reject us, right? And that's basically what's happened. A lot of these people have rejected the fact that they're the Israelites, right? They haven't tried to go into the Bible and find their true nationality and their heritage because of what the white man has done using the Bible, right? Which basically makes these people not want to have anything to do with it. And because of that, they've become a lawless people, or people that don't really have any type of religion to themselves. I know a lot of you think that they still worship eagles and doves and horses and stuff, but most natives ain't really on that stuff either anymore, right? So that's all like folklore type stuff now. It ain't something that they really doing anymore. So now they're just like most of them are atheists. They don't really believe in anything no more because they don't know what to believe in. They don't know they have any ties to the Bible, and they don't think they would because the way that they remember it coming here was by the white man. Most of the elders that they have aren't even real Indians. They're crackers that have been pushing BS, down the pipeline. So these people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? So let's get a little bit of history using Deuteronomy. We're going to use a article. I'm going to show you guys. Going to have one of the brothers read it, and we're going to go from there. Just give you guys a little bit of insight, and I guess you could use these articles as well. With your family members if you'd like to send it to them. If they're people who like to read, you know what I'm saying? They can check the articles out. This one is powwows.com, a more accurate view of Thanksgiving. And there's another one called the Invention of Thanksgiving. It's not the one that I use, but it has a little bit of information in it. So let me make sure y'all can see that. Probably need. Y'all think I need to zoom in a little bit?
It's good.
Great. All right. Cool. Let me get Eve off the screen with the St. Jude. All right. So move that to. Okay, cool. All right. So give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 49. Because of this new doctrine out there, this Negro only doctrine, you got to be brown skinned and, look like the king to be Israel, which isn't in the Bible. But nevertheless, because of the doctrine, a lot of people can't, they don't really see what goes on as far as, they don't really see what goes on as far as the curses that happen to these people and the conditions that they live in because they're too busy looking at skin color and stuff, right? And we know what I'm talking about. There's a big old issue going on with these people in this community right now, right as we speak. So, you know, this is a lesson for them as well, so that they could actually kind of get to know a little bit of the conditions that their brother is going through, so that maybe they'll understand how this is their brother, right? So, Deuteronomy 28:49. Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 49.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High.
Start verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
Right. So the Most High is saying that all the Israelites would have to serve their enemies, right? That the Most High would send against them for want of all things, right? So he's going to send enemies against these people for want of all things. He's going to send enemies against your people for want of all things, right? If you feel you're an Israelite according to the Bible. So Everybody, all the Israelites, no matter where they are in the four corners of the earth, they're serving their enemies for all things, right? So,
And he shall put a yoke.
hold on. Aren't the natives serving their enemies for all things? Don't they have to go against the same people and go to the same people that take their land from them, and buy from their stuff at the grocery stores? Ain't no native grocery stores, guys.
Right.
I know some of y'all probably thought there was, but there isn't. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no downrange grocery market. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? No Okefenokee, none of that. Nah. Ain't nothing that the natives have as far as like a groceries facility that they could go to that's just theirs, where they sell their own products and all that type of stuff. Ain't none of that. Not even on a reservation. They gotta go to Walmart and Kroger and Publix. Yeah, just like y'all. You understand what I'm saying? For want of all things, right? They get to make a little bit of their clothes and stuff like that, but not the majority of them, because they don't have textile factories and stuff like that, right? And the amount of land that they have, they've been using those uh those grounds for generations, basically since they've been put on the plant or the reservation, which is basically a plantation. So, but since they've been put on those lands, a lot of the livestock is gone. They've had to give a lot of the livestock back to the United States. So a lot of the animals and the plants and everything like that they would use to make clothes, they don't have anymore because they've had to give them to farmers that need them for America to be great again, right? So y'all didn't even know that, right? The natives don't even have access to the full amount of animals that they have. They have a certain amount of animals they can have on each reservation, and once they get past that level, they have to start distributing their animals to white farmers in America. Yeah. So continue reading.
Con. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck till he have destroyed thee. Right? We have the lesson on milk. Well, it was a Milk Monday lesson, matter of fact, right? Where we spoke about the emphatic proof that the Native Americans and Hispanics are Israelites, and we showed, what I'm saying, with references, right, how they were on plantations serving as slaves right next to the so-called Negro with the same yoke of iron on their neck on the same plantations in a lot of cases, right? So once again, this curse holds true. Go ahead, keep going.
Verse 49. The Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth.
Right. Nations have sent some people against him, right? From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, right? These enemies that are going to come from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Why does it say the eagle, right? Because this is what the white man has been represented by throughout history. If we go look up Greece and Rome, it's going to be a eagle that pops up as their national symbol, right? If we look up Spain, the Dutch lands, French, all the people that colonized this world, right? This continent, you understand what I'm saying? These people are going to use the eagle, right? If you look at America right now, after it's been colonized and it's become the nation that it's become, after the fact, what's the national bird? The eagle, right? We're not supposed to have fear, whatever your name is. The Bible says we're supposed to be bold as a lion. What are we supposed to be scared of? I don't understand what you keep talking about fear for, bro. You're weird. Block the man now. You can block him now. I don't care. Block him now. Yeah. So, keep reading.
Come. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Mm-hmm. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, right? And it's clear, judging by those stones that they have in America, right? Judging by the languages that these people still speak, you can go on your own YouTube right now, look up Native American languages. You could hear the people talk, right? They have a tongue just as the Hebrew, as many of the historical books throughout the United States since the time of the crackers coming to the United States, the so-called Americas, right? All these historical books that they've written, all these books where these anthropologists and these basically expeditionists have gone out and they've written things and they've explored and they've done their little scientific experiments, and like they've done their national observations of the native people, all this stuff, right? Where they've looked into the tribes and seen the languages and the way they live and the food they eat and the way they make their buffalo skins and the way they make their tents, all that stuff, right? Everything. They've done all this history on them, and they know that they're Israelites. So it's also clear that the language that they speak now, which is English, wasn't the language that they spoke throughout time. This language was given to them, right? Was forced upon them by their colonizer, the oppressor, the same person that put this language on the so-called Negro that was put on the slave ships. By the way, we're going to see that in this Thanksgiving holiday in the 1620s, right? A year after the niggas got here, right? They was still putting Indians on slave ships for Thanksgiving. We're going to see it, right? Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old,
right?
Nor show favor to the young.
And that's what happened, right? They were putting people on the slave ships, whether they were old, whether they were young, boys and girls, right? Mothers and fathers, uncles and aunties, cousins, grandmas, grandpas. They don't care. Everybody was on the plantation. Your grandma was working with the dress on, next to your mama, next to her mama, right? Next to your sister. And your daddy and your brothers and your cousins was all there too, right? They didn't care about none of us, no matter what our age was. As soon as you could walk, you was getting your hands busted by picking the cotton, right? As soon as you could speak, you was doing stuff for master. That's how it worked. We all went through this stuff, right? This is a curse for everybody. Deuteronomy chapter 28 is the curses for the Israelites that shall be upon their seed forever. Go ahead, Ak.
Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
He shall do what?
Eat the fruit of thy cattle.
Right. So we see that the fruit of thy cattle, right? He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle. He's going to eat the things off of your land, right? Mind you, as I told you, right? There's natives, there's tribes with their own land, right? On these reservations, these reserved land lots that they got, right? That can only have a certain amount of animals on it. And the animals are theirs. The animals are theirs, but they're being told how many animals they can have on the land. Right now, today, in 2020. Right? It's black folk that got farms in South Georgia right now that can have as many animals as they want. Right? But it's natives on reservations that have rules where it's like, if you got an acre of land yourself, you can't have more than 5 animals. Let's say that's the rule, right? I don't know if that's really the number, but it's a rule like that. They have a certain amount of animals per reservation. Once you go over that number, the animals start getting, shipped out to other people. Crackers, presumptively, right? For their farms so that they can prosper off of the animals that they got off the natives. No different than what was happening with the horses, right? They were using the tribe I come from, the Comanche Indians, to steal the horses from crackers, and then certain other crackers would come through, do business with them, and resell the horses to other crackers that wouldn't have a chance of getting the horses from the natives. Right? Same thing. So keep going.
And the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed.
Right. So they've taken everything till these people are destroyed. Now they're on reservations by themselves in terrible conditions, drinking their life away because they're so hurt by the terrible conditions. And they know that there's no way out of these terrible conditions. Shalom, Mark. You feel what I'm saying? No way out of these terrible conditions. So that's what people got to understand. These folks are going through the same troubles we're going through. Same things that you're going through. And guess what? It's in the book of Deuteronomy. We're reading it. Keep going.
Con, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil.
Right.
Or
How have they not left any corn, wine, or oil, right? Well, just look at the facts. Have you ever gone to the liquor store and seen a Native American brand alcohol bottle? No, because it don't exist. They got casinos. They ain't got no liquor. Mark Stoudemire got wine. Hmm? Uh, uh, Diddy gets paid off alcohol. Jay-Z got the gold bottles, right? Rick Ross got the rosé, Black Bottle Boys, right? That dude from I forget what the man name is, but the native brother from the Black Eyed Peas, he ain't got no alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no native alcohol out there. Read that verse again.
Con, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle
Mm-hmm.
and the fruit of thy land,
Right.
until thou be destroyed,
Uh-huh.
which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine,
Right.
or the
Mm-hmm.
increase of thy kind,
Right.
or flocks of thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee.
That's right. He didn't leave him nothing. We taught him how to grow corn, how to grow potatoes. So that's something they couldn't grow over there where they're from. Yams. They ain't see oranges till they came to the Americas. Never seen it. Right?
Precept.
But once they seen it, they said, hey, we can't get this to them, we can't get this back. And now it's theirs, right? Now they got Proud Boys standing at our camp location while we having camp with the watchmen, chanting, "You will not replace us." And they stole the damn land. Ain't that funny?
That's hilarious.
If these people don't fit the curses of Deuteronomy, they're not the Israelites. Are you serious? Keep reading.
Con. Verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates,
Mm-hmm.
until thy high and fenced walls come down,
That's right.
wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Most High thy power hath given thee.
And that's what happened, man. We came to this land to serve the Most High our God and to keep the law, statutes, and commandments that we didn't keep in our own land. And then this land got taken from us, right? While some of us are trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You see, we got fringes on. We wear the borders of blue still to this day. If you go to a powwow, you will see it, right? This is facts. They have them every year. If you live in Georgia, you could go to Stone Mountain in the springtime. There's like 50 powwows at Stone Mountain Park every year, right? Where you can go see these people. You can see how they dress. You can see what the culture is like, how the food is, everything. They're Jake all the way, 110%. From the way they talk, they walk, they dance, all that stuff. And when you talk to them, the way they feel about America, you will see that as well, right? So, give me actually before we get into any of the other scriptures, let's read let's read a little bit about Thanksgiving. Hopefully y'all can read this and it looks good. Do it look good?
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Con.
Cause I'm trying to make sure y'all can see that. All right. Let me make sure we at the right spot. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because this is very long. All right, yeah. I guess one of y'all just start reading from Aldo.
Con. Although the Pilgrims were searching for some religious freedom from the British Crown, they were really nothing more than English colonists. They came for many other reasons, also by regardless of what those reasons may have been, they were still loyal subjects to the British Crown.
Now I want you guys to point. I want to point something out to you, right? Because this is something else that the Negro only brothers won't ever go into because they don't want to come up with any facts that could prove these people to be Israelites, right? When you go into Arzarit, then the fact that and notice I'm calling it a fact because that's what it is. The fact that the Americas is the place that Columbus gave the name Arzarit to, right? Because that's what the name, like that's who figured out where the place was, right? Wasn't the natives who came and put it on Washington Post or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And said this is Arzarit. No, they got the information from another cracker named Columbus, right? So who also is the one who basically gave light and shed light on the second Esdras book for the crackers by using it for this purpose. Because if you go into that whole thing, if you watch the video, there's something you can watch on YouTube, history, a little bit of homework for you guys. It's a movie called 1492 and the Conquest for Paradise, if I'm not mistaken. And you will see that the man playing Christopher Columbus will tell you in the video that the crackers don't like Esdras or Ezra, right? They don't read his books in the Catholic Church. So even though they had it in the Bible that the Catholics use, they never actually read it. It's not something that they go over in the Catholic Church. This was admitted in that movie, right? So, um, so during the time of Columbus, it was known that they still didn't go that deep into the Bible as far as the doctrine was concerned in the church, right? So they had Ezra's, but they never fully read it. So, which they didn't need to because it doesn't fit their doctrine. So, uh, what they did was Columbus went, he read it, found out where the 10 tribes were, and decided to go to the Pope, right? Who then partnered with the Queen of Spain, and they commissioned Columbus to go to the Americas, get the gold, find the people, and then come back, right? And the day after Columbus sailed off in 1492 is the day that Rodrigo Borgia became the Pope. And we know that Rodrigo Borgia is the father of who they made Christ, right? Of the man who they made Christ to be. Cesare Borgia, however you want to say his name, right? The cracker in the pictures as Jesus Christ. So all of this stuff happens around the same time period, right? And this conquest that Columbus made to come to these people has turned into the Thanksgiving holiday that America has coined as a national holiday. Nobody else uses it as a national holiday, only America. Everybody celebrates Christmas throughout the world, but only America celebrates Thanksgiving. And it's a holiday specifically pointing towards a certain people that were massacred for the land that they supposedly gave to the white folks, who they give thanks to every single year, right? So we're going to read this article. It's going to give you guys a little bit of insight on what the Folly Day is about, how it started, what type of things and events happened, like natives' heads getting kicked through the fields like soccer balls, why the turkey head why the turkey is what it's used for, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. Why it's a turkey that they use to symbolize the feast and everything, right? We're gonna get into all of that stuff today. So we should be done by 11 o'clock. It ain't gonna take too long. So y'all just hang tight, take your notes, and send the video to your family members afterwards, right? So that they know what's good. Go ahead, keep reading, all right? Oh, hey, you on mute, bro. You on mute. Start that over.
In 1620, an English ship called the Mayflower set sail for the Americas. The ship was chartered by a religious sect known as the Puritans.
There you go.
They were headed for what was called the Virginians.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Puritans ran out of beer and needed to make land as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Beer was used more often than water on the high seas since water on a ship could not be kept drinking safe. Thus, they landed in December of 1620 on the shores of what is now Massachusetts.
You see? So them landing in Massachusetts was even an accident, right? They tell you everything that happens is an accident, but it don't really be like that. Columbus didn't find the Americas on accident like they tell you. That was something that was supposed to happen. He was commissioned to come this way, right? He was actually told by the Pope, hey, go that way. Go find this place. I heard them people over there. You good at navigating the seas. I want to go see if them people over there because they supposed to have some gold. Me and the queen need you to come back with that stuff because me and her are supposed to split it. Spain and Portugal are supposed to get half of it, right? And the papacy is supposed to get half of it. And that's exactly what happened. And Columbus actually got in trouble and didn't get the whole continent named after him because he took some of the gold that was caught. He took a little bit of the Queen of Spain's portion and was later on caught, which is why Amerigo Vespucci got the name of the land, which is why it's America and not called Columbia. And they only gave him the capital, which is, British Columbia, D.C., right? So, yeah. Go ahead. District of Columbia. Go ahead.
Con. They did not establish a settlement right away, as often thought and taught in schools. They were not able to settle at the original landing.
Mm-hmm.
These so-called pilgrims were not the first Europeans to shore of the New England coast.
Take this into account, right? They were not the first Europeans to shore the New England coast, not just the Americas, but just New England alone. So crackers had already been here 1492, right? Because I know a lot of them tell you, well, Columbus only came to the islands. He didn't actually come to the mainland. All right, you could say that, but they clearly had expeditionists and explorers come and colonists come right after Columbus, right? Because in the 1500s they were taking people to the mainland. In the 1600s they were taking people to the mainland, and you're about to see that a Captain George Weymouth, or Weymouth, however you want to pronounce his name, he actually took a bunch of slaves with him. But go ahead, read that out.
These so-called pilgrims were not the first Europeans to shore of the New England coast. In 1605, a British expedition led by Captain George Weymouth had landed on this particular coastline. When they left in 1614, they took 24 natives.
Salakia, they were here from 1605 and they left in 1614. So these little spurts, right? It was a whole lot of ships coming in and out. I just want y'all to take that into account while we talking about history. There was a whole lot of ships coming back and forth from Europe to the Americas, right? Where the crackers would stay for a little bit of time and then they would up and leave, right? So they stay for a little time, then leave, right? And that's it. When they come back, they take some slaves with them. So they may stay for a little while like George did and then take the slaves with them when they leave. But regardless of the fact, they would always come for a little while, scout the land, and then take some people back with them and then go back to Europe. And then on the way back, right, so that they'd have a guide to go back through the land, they always bring the natives back, whichever one survived. And you're going to see that that happened for Thanksgiving to be what it was with the man named Squanto or Squantum. We're going to talk about all that today, right? Go ahead, continue,
Khan. When they left in 1614, they took 24 natives as slaves and left smallpox, syphilis, and gonorrhea in their wake.
Right. So another thing, there's articles that you read when you're looking up the true, like the truth about Thanksgiving and stuff, and they talk about the smallpox and stuff, and the Edomite scholars that are writing these articles will lie to you and tell you that they accidentally left smallpox because of things that were happening on the ship and all this other stuff and bad living conditions and crap. No, it wasn't accidental, right? They were giving them smallpox blankets. They put blankets, they put smallpox and syphilis in the blankets that they would give them, and they would do fur trades and blanket trades and stuff like that, right? We were good at fur trading with them. That's how we would make a lot of money off the Edomites because they like fur jackets, you know what I'm saying? For the cold in the winter and stuff like that. So we knew where all the animals was. We was good at catching the animals, so we was the ones to go to for the fur coats and stuff like that. If you wanted your animal coat, whether it was fox fur, damn deer skin, whatever it is, buffalo skin, whatever it may be, right? Raccoon, whatever, rabbit, they was all coming to us to get that type of stuff. And in return, they would trade with us. It was a bartering system that we had because America didn't have the dollar bill yet, right? They didn't have coins for presidents and stuff. So we would barter with each other. And in return, they started giving us smallpox blankets, which when we would use them, we'd pass them around to people in the tribe and everybody would end up getting sick and die. It was a method that they used, right? And it started in 1614. Go ahead, we're gonna read. Hold on, let me make sure because we ain't gonna read all of this. But yeah, go ahead, read that. One of the natives.
One of the natives taken back to Europe was named Tisquantum.
Yeah, Squantum. Just say Squantum. It's pronounced
Squantum.
Squantum. Yeah.
Squantum, called Squanto by the white man. The 102 Puritans landed and built their colony called the Plymouth Plantation on the ruins of the native village of Patuix.
Hold on, I'm trying to see why this junk popped up on the side and how to get this mess to go away.
Patuix.
It's Patuit. Yeah, Patuit. Go ahead. Sorry about that junk on the side. I can't make that junk go away. They doing me dirty now.
I can still see.
All right, bet.
Patuit had been destroyed by the Weymouth expedition. The Puritans survived by stealing the food stores of neighboring native summer villages, as well as eating corn that was still growing wild from abandoned cornfields near the ruined village.
What did the scripture say in Deuteronomy 28 again? Did it say something about them eating the corn and not leaving us none and you know taking all the wine and stuff? Did it not say that? Didn't it say that?
Verse 51.
But these people not the Israelites though, right? Because they don't fit the curses. Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. I just yeah. Go ahead.
Strangely enough, Squantum, who had survived his trips to Europe, happened to come upon these Puritans while hunting with another native named Somerset. They observed the newcomers, and finally one day Squantum sent Somerset over to greet the Puritans with the word welcome.
I've been trying to move it. It's not going over. It's not going over. I don't know what to do. Anyway, Slaki, go ahead.
Squantum soon joined the Puritans, were surprised to find two savages that spoke their language. The Puritans were terrible at survival, but with the help of Squantum, they were able to harvest some late corn and learn to catch some game.
So now they were taught how to harvest late corn, right? So now we're teaching them how to basically save themselves because they're bad at survival. So we helped them out in a big, big, big way. Because if it wasn't for Squantum or Squanto, whatever they like to call him, right? His name's Squanto. But if it wasn't for Squanto, they wouldn't have survived. And they liked him so much that they made him a friend, right? Tricked him into liking them and stuff like that, and then took him on the ship and made him a slave. We're going to get into that. Go ahead,
Squantum also helped the colonists negotiate a treaty with the Wampanoag people nearby, who were led by Massacre.
Yeah, Massacre. He's the leader. So Massacre is the leader of the Wampanoag Nation. He's going to be murdered one day. So, still many appearance quickly succumbed to pneumonia and consumption. And it was hard winter, and some 46 of the original 102 Mayflower crackers died. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I could go out and come back to this. See if it's gonna work. Cause that whole advertisement was getting on my nerves. Alright, I'll be back. Just gotta find my spot now. Oh man, it just came back. Alright, so I guess they're not gonna let me live. They're not gonna let me slide with that one. Hold up. See if it go here. No, I can't make it go away. Sorry, guys. Press Control. Okay.
So
All right, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, it's out the way now. All right, go ahead. Let me see. Yeah, go ahead. Read this.
Khan. The next year, 1621, with the help of Wampanoag people, the Puritans learned how to live and make a bountiful harvest. And
Mm-hmm.
in celebration of their good fall harvest, the colony's governor, William Bradford, declared a 3-day feast after the harvest.
Right now, read this part.
The natives that attend this feast were not even invited.
Now, a lot of these Negro onlys, they had a Thanksgiving feast, and all these Asian niggas in the Americas was going to eat with them, right? How you eating with your oppressors and you mad that they taking your land? This, that, and the third. Well, idiot. It says that the natives that attended the feast weren't invited. Well, if they were invited, how'd they get there? Let's see. Read.
The Puritans had only invited Massasoit,
Mm-hmm.
the Wampanoag leader.
Right? So they only invited one dude, right? The leader. That's usually how it goes. They invite the guy who they want to become the gatekeeper, the guy with the power to influence the people, right? And then they try to use their words, they slick talking, right? They devilish words to deceive the brother or the sister, right? And then in return, that brother or sister, once being deceived, goes out there and does what they want them to do to the people, so that the white man don't have to get his hands dirty, right? So they only invited Massasoit, but Massasoit, being a good leader, did something a little bit different. Go ahead, read.
It was Massasoit that brought the other 90 or more of his native brothers and sisters that saved the colony to the cauldron
Mm-hmm.
of the rather rude and indignant Puritans.
Right. And
The natives also provided most of the food.
right. So not only that, but they're hospitable, right?
Uh,
Coming to the party bearing gifts, not just for nothing. That's how it became a feast, and they were able to make this whole notion that it was a great feast, and all the natives and the Puritans and the pilgrims, whatever you want to call them, were hand in hand drinking ice cream and stuff like that, right? Nah, that ain't what was going down. It wasn't nothing like that. We invited ourselves to the party and brought our own food, and they happened to be a part of it and got to eat a little bit of it.
mm-hmm.
And because they the ones that started the event, we was eating at their table because we wasn't going to bring a table, right? Who the hell going to be shuffling a table through the woods and stuff like that? So we ate at whatever table they built.
Yeah.
And they called it a feast. And we brought so much food that it lasted for 3 damn days. They had enough food to eat for 3 days. That's all it was. It wasn't no big put together thing because they were only supposed to talk to Massasoit about, doing the people dirty and taking the land, trying to do a peace treaty. And we know, based on the Bible, every treaty that they do, their words were drawn swords. They were just going to go back and turn on us at the end of the day anyway,
Mm-hmm.
which is what happened. It started actually before that because they started with smallpox blankets. They had already started turning on us. But we were trying to live in peace with the people who are now in the land. And because of that, it messed us up even more. But let's skip ahead a little bit. All right, let's read now at this moment.
Now, at this moment, most scholars write that the drought of 1623 was the cause for Salakia, was the cause for much of this. While the drought was hard, it was not an excuse for the many unrighteous things the Puritans were doing.
So they're trying to say that the Puritans had an idea that they didn't have to really go for the things that the natives were doing anymore. They didn't really need to answer to them or anything because they're really just part of the British crown. So because of the drought, it became every man for themselves. For people that get a little bit deeper into their scholarly studies about Thanksgiving, right? Because Google has their little other methods with the algorithms. If you're not very scholarly and you only looked up something one time, they're not gonna give you the truth.
Right.
You gotta really look for it. Once you look for some stuff a little bit, they'll give you a little bit more of the truth. An article that might say something a little bit more telling. So it's the same thing here, right? The Puritans basically let them see a little bit of how they was, and then at the end of the day, they gave them the whole unrighteous Puritan party, right? But after the fact, they marketed it as if it was the drought that made this thing happen. Just like after the fact of all these Thanksgiving massacres they had, just because they was able to document that there were 90 plus natives at the first feast, right? Oh, it was a big old Thanksgiving party that we had. The natives and the Puritans were hand in hand like some Martin Luther King's dream before the event happened, right? That's how they make it seem, but that ain't what it was.
Right.
We invited ourselves to the party and ate our own food, and they happen to eat our food too, because that's what the crackers do. Go ahead, Art.
Con. The peace settlement between this first colony of Puritans and the Wampanoag people meant that the Puritans were to have 15 years to establish a firm colony.
So we gave them 15 years to establish a firm colony, and then they were supposed to leave us the hell alone forever. One colony. For those of you that don't understand, oh, they was cool with the white man. They white folks. They love the white people. No, nigga. Excuse my French. We gave them room for one colony in New England. We don't even like New England. It's cold and it's up north. It's foggy and gloomy. It looked just like England. Nobody want to be there. Just being real. Sorry for y'all that live in New England or Massachusetts or anywhere over there. Right? So that's what it is. We gave them a little bit of land and gave them 15 years to establish their colony. It was only 300 crackers. But they decided they had another plan, right? It says, here, I'll read this part. By 1629, there were no more than 300 Puritans in present-day New England in small and isolated communities. So they had their own communities, which not even the natives were a part of, right? Because we still had our communities. We weren't trying to live amongst the heathen. Since they was here, we were trying to teach them how to live so that they'd stay out our face, wouldn't be asking us, hey, how you do this? How you navigate that? No, we going to go ahead and show y'all in advance so we ain't got to worry about you niggas no more. Right? That's how it was supposed to go. That was the mindset here. But that ain't what happened. Right? Because they would always find some way to get up in there. They use squantum, right? Get up in there. Then they use Massasoit, get up in there, right? And it was a whole bunch of other native captains, native elders, native leaders, right? Native chiefs that they used throughout history to do this very thing. No different than what they did with the Negro, right? Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, right? Martin Luther King and the American government, right? You know what I'm saying? No different. Al Sharpton, Farrakhan, all the coons you can think about that work for the United States right now, right? So let me see. Soon the Puritans begin to discuss legal ownership of the land, right? Legal ownership. Why is it legal? Because now, mind you, the natives don't have no legal system. You mess up, we kill you. It's that simple. Just like in the old days. Huh? Some type of threat that you are to the people, you rape the dude's daughter, something like that, you know what I'm saying? You get killed. It's a wrap. Mr. Dub. We don't want you here no more. But they talking about legal ownership. That means they're about to get their governorship involved. They're about to use their Edomite laws from England, right? And start applying them to the Americas that aren't even the Americas yet. They're supposed to have one damn colony, but they're talking about legal ownership of all the land. Mind you, that's the pride of the white man, right? So look, at this time, Governor John Winthrop declared the Indians had not subdued the land. Which don't even make no damn sense. How you not subdued the land, but it's a million damn tribes all throughout the United States of America.
All right.
All over the place. but they didn't subdue the land, right? This is how the land was going to begin to be taken, as it says in Deuteronomy 28, right? And therefore, all uncultivated land should be public domain according to English common law. English common law. So now they're using English common law while trying to separate from English common law, which is because that's why they're in the Americas, right? They're trying to separate from the religious ties of the British, crown, right? But they're using the British crown's English common law to try to establish the land as theirs in America. Do you see the hypocrisy of the people? Huh? Realize that there wasn't never really no real war between England and the Americans, so-called, because the whole time they were using the English law to take what was not theirs here in America, right? How you use a law of a place that you're trying to separate from to establish new land and laws in a new land, right? It don't make sense, but that's what they did. Why they don't teach you this part in school? Go ahead, in other words.
In other words, this meant that the land belonged to the King of England. Thus, the colonists decided that they did not need to consult with the natives and that the land was theirs for the taking.
Say what? Wait, what?
It said, thus the colonists decided that they did not need to consult with the natives and that the land was theirs for the taking.
Based off English common law. Had nothing to do with natives and what they thought and how they were, how the situation was originally drawn up. Because mind you, there's a peace treaty already in place thanks to Squantum, the Wampanoag. Mind you, right? Wampanoag via Patuit tribe, right? So he's a Patuit Wampanoag that gave them a peace treaty with not all Indians, but just the Patuit Wampanoag, right? Because there's other type of Wampanoags too. They only got a peace treaty with one damn sect of the Indians, not even all of them. But now all of a sudden, the land's for the taking. You know what I'm saying? I declare that these savages have not subdued the land, and we can in fact overtake it due to the standards of English common law. Can't you see them saying that?
Yeah, sure can. Just like
go ahead.
So like, hey, when you said when y'all read that they come to the conclusion that they didn't subdue the land, I just looked up the definition of subdue, right? And the first word is overcome.
So they have not overcome the land, but there's millions of natives all throughout the United States.
Right. But check this out. But the Edomites subdued the land because the other definition is to bring a country or people under control by force.
Because that's what happened, right? They subdued the natives. That's what happened. They subdued us. Had nothing to do with the land. They wanted the land. So how do you... what's the easiest way to take over somebody, right? You earn their trust. Make them think there's no way in the world you would turn on them to make them put their guard down, right? And then once their guard's down, you sneak into the village while everybody's sleeping. You burn up 700 Patuit Indians. We gonna get into it, right? Mm-hmm. That's how they did it. That's how they did it, right? Let's see. Let's get right into it. Let's go. May 26, 1637. So it started in 1614, right? With the smallpox and stuff. Now we 1637, right? 1621 and 1623, they're having a little feast. Now we in 1637. Watch what happens. Read, Doc.
Hey, Salaki, I got a precept.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. But war was in his heart.
War was in his heart. Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yet were they drawn swords.
Right.
That's it.
They were drawing swords. You understand? That's what they are. That's their peace treaty. We used to talk about this all the time when we were HOR. How they make a bunch of treaties. I forget how many it was. Probably 700. And
Wow.
they broke every single one of them. Because you have to think, there's there's treaties that they don't speak about because they were only treaties with maybe one specific tribe. So the tribe may know that there was a peace treaty, but it might not have been documented nationally with all the white men that could have documented this, right?
Right.
Because we know that any documentation they have of treaties was documented by white men. It wasn't documented by the natives. So um, just like this was documented, right? This whole treaty with the Wampanoag and the Patuit and the Puritans and stuff was only documented because it was the first treaty. You know, it was basically the first peace treaty. So you have to think they get here around the 1500s for the first time. 1492 is when they come to the Americas for the first time, but they get to the mainland around the 1500s, like 1505 or something like that. And when they get here, ain't no peace treaties. A whole 100 years, right? Ain't no peace treaties. None. We get to 1605, they start coming here and don't get a peace treaty till 1614. And then in 1637, they start breaking the treaty. Let's see how. Read it.
On May 26, 1637, a force of Puritans attacked about 700 Pequot people.
Yeah, Pequot, which is the tribe that the Squantum is from. He's a Pequot Wampanoag.
Attacked about 700 Pequot people near the mouth of the Mystic River at Groton, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
The Pequots had gathered their annual green corn dance. During the gathering, they were surrounded and attacked by the English and the Dutch.
So for those of you that don't know what the annual green corn dance is, this is Feast of First Fruits. They're celebrating Feast of First Fruits, and they're gonna die on the Feast of First Fruits. Go ahead.
The natives were ordered from the gathering building, and as they came forth, they were shot down and cut up.
Yep. As they came forth, they were shot down and cut up. Yeah. And what happened to the rest?
The rest were burned alive in the building.
Yeah. So they didn't really give you the full outlook of what happened. I didn't read this red part. Read that. I want to see what's going on with this.
Fire, sword, blunderbuss, and tomahawk. They also added that to see them Indians frying in the fire and the streams of their blood quenching the same, and the stench was horrible. But the victory seemed a sweet sacrifice to the great delight to the pilgrim, and they gave praise thereof to God.
Look at that. So they talking about the blood and the blunder and how the people's bodies were smelling and all that type of stuff, right? But then they give praise to God.
Hey, damn devils, man.
Is there a more vile person than Esau?
Not at all.
And this ain't Esau? Are you serious? You serious?
Bloodthirsty.
Right? This is from Commander John Underhill, right? And John Mason. So these people, and the way they didn't tell you that the massacre happened when the people was sleeping, bro. Both times.
Wow.
They snuck up on them in the heat of the night. We had our party for the annual corn dance. They dance, they drink, you know what I'm saying, party, all that type of stuff, just like we do on the feast days. Then when everybody knocked out sleep in their tents, the crackers come creeping in and they start fighting. It wasn't much of a war because we was asleep. They was able to kill people in their tents while they was knocked out. The few that heard the fires and the gunfires and stuff like that and heard people screaming and stuff, they the ones that woke up and tried to fight back. All the kids and the women were told to go into a building, which is why they were all in one place. It was only kids and women in the building that got burned up. All the men that were able to fight died fighting. So the 700 people that died in the building were kids and women. That's it. More proof that they don't care. They don't show no favor to the young or the old. Not even to the male or the female. The boy or the girl. Right? Go ahead. But these people not Israelites. Y'all funny. Come on.
Hey, scroll back up out of one, Baba Kushar.
Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah, I know you kind of skimmed through because you know the history already. But it said the next day, the governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving, thanking God that they had eliminated over 700 men, women, and children.
You see that? Thanking God that they killed over 700 men, women, and little boys and girls of the Native American Indians, so-called Native American Indians, who was the tribe of Gad and some Indians, Reuben, right?
Man.
That's wild.
That's Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving us the land by killing 700 of your people, God. Because mind you, they know who they're up against. They read the memoirs of Columbus before they came over here. I guarantee it. Right? It's 1637. They just killed King James about 10 years before this, in the 1620s. Around the same time that they came here and brought the people over back to Europe after they gave them the smallpox. This is all happening around the same time period, guys. Somebody says Salagi.
Yeah, precept.
Go ahead.
Judah bring out. You asked Judah bring out Deuteronomy 28:49. I just wanted to continue to verse 50. It said, "A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." Talking about that massacre.
Facts. It's more massacres. Here, read this. During this period.
During this period of their history, the Puritans, along with other European sects, declared days of Thanksgiving to celebrate mass murder more than to celebrate harvest.
Yeah, so some of the white people, well, my family was never Puritans. Well, it says other European sects, just so you won't know what the sects are. Right? All other Europeans that got off them Mayflower type ships from Europe and came to the Americas was all partaking in Thanksgiving feasts. And what was the Thanksgiving? Thanks for giving us the land by killing your people, God. They're thanking God, right? 1637, and thanking God that the battles had been won. That's what Thanksgiving is. Thank God for killing your people.
You can't get around that.
That's OD. That's crazy.
Right? But they won't tell you that in school because they don't even want you to know the natives of God's people in school. Keep reading.
Learning from the Puritans in 1641, the Dutch began to offer scout money for natives.
Oh yeah. So we gotta talk about this, right? Because I'm a Comanche, Namuno Tekwapu. So we the ones that started scalping. That's a big thing, right? In the native community, that's a stereotype, right? They always talk about scalping, but it's a very unknown thing that the scalping was not started by the natives. We started scalping as a return, right? We started scalping for vengeance because it started with the crackers scalping us on Thanksgiving for money. Right?
Right.
It'd be Thanksgiving. You got a native, long hair, you know what I'm saying? Braid, probably killed a couple crackers. Don't cut his hair, keep it long, right? Nazarite vow type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then they kill the native and scalp him and sell the scalp and the braid together on Thanksgiving to a lucky cracker, right? Maybe his son, and his son could take this scalp and twirl it around all day long the rest of his life like a toy. Wear it on his head even if you want to. Skinhead. That's where those come from, right? The term skinhead comes from them putting the scalp of Native Americans on their head when they play around with it, like little boys and girls do, right? Skinhead. Yeah, little history for you. Okay, go ahead. The Dutch governor.
The Dutch governor, Willem Keft of Manhattan, paid money for the scalps of each native brought to him. In 1643, Governor Keft ordered the massacre of the
Wait for
Wapping.
it.
Say it again.
I mean the Wappinger. Wappinger.
Wappinger, of the Wappinger people.
Mm-hmm.
In this massacre, 80 native people were killed, and several heads were kicked around the streets of the village of Manhattan.
Mm. So you know crackers like to play soccer, right?
Huh.
You know what they used to do on Thanksgiving? They used to cut off native heads and kick their heads around like soccer balls throughout the villages. You know what the significance of the turkey is, right? The turkey would be the scalped head and severed body, right? Or the body with the severed head, rather, of the native. And what they would do is they would stuff the native, right, with the bread. And sometimes they'd like use his body like a pinata.
Wow.
So now you have the turkey and stuffing. And when you beat the pinata with the turkey and stuffing, right? Or when you beat the pinata with the stuffing in it, rather, the bread pours out of the head or the neck area, and blood begins to pour out with it. Because you know they were talking about the all that other stuff, right? From the village and how they saw the blood and the bodies baking and all that type of stuff, right? Esau is very vulgar. So this type of stuff they like, right? Gory stuff. And because of the blood that would come when you beat the body of the dead native with no head, you got the cranberry juice to signify that. So there you go, turkey stuffing cranberries, Native American dead bodies. Mm-hmm.
After I read this item, I got a precept for this too.
Go ahead.
Said,
Later, Keft got commander. Go ahead.
Underhill to carry out a massacre near present-day Stamford, Connecticut. A village was set on fire, and around 500 natives were put to the sword.
Yeah, 500 natives in one village set on fire and put to the sword. Right? It might be 500 natives in one village. So you know what this means, right?
Yeah, they was genocide.
More land for the Edomites. Because every time they take out a village, thanks God for giving us this land by killing your people.
Damn.
And why was the Most High letting them fall like that, right? Wasn't because they're not his people. It's because they were joined hand in hand with their enemy. Right? So they were trying to help the people that wasn't trying to help them. And not following the law, statutes, commandments at the same time. What site is this? This is powwows.com/ a more accurate view of Thanksgiving. I don't know if y'all can see it at the top of this. Y'all can't see it, huh?
Nah.
Yeah. I gotta zoom out. I'll zoom out when we finish. Let you see the name of the website. If I can, I'll put it in the description section. But yeah. Keep reading, and then you can get your precept.
It says, soon the settlers launched an all-out genocide of the native people. The government of Massachusetts made an order offering 29 shillings bounty for every native scalp and 40 shillings for every native prisoner that could be sold into slavery.
Wait, no. What no native slaves? What you talking about?
Dang, what this article saying?
Read that again.
It said the government of Massachusetts made an order offering 29 shillings bounty for every native scout and 40 shillings for every native prisoner that could be sold into slavery.
That's called a cut, brown skin only. I mean Negro only. I mean the long knee brothers. You know what I'm saying? This says that they was put in slavery. Right? And I bet they had shackles and chains. Chain gang.
Right, and paying other Edomites to do it.
Right. And and they're getting scalped.
Wow.
Right? They're getting scalped. Oh, and look. They're about to talk about Christianity. Read that part.
Con. Any native people that had converted to Christianity were accused of shooting into the trees during battles with the hostiles and were therefore enslaved or killed.
Mm-hmm.
Other peaceful natives of Dartmouth and Dover were invited to a negotiating meeting in which they were taken captive and sold into slavery.
Look at this. Guys, let's negotiate a peace treaty with you guys so that we can, figure out how we're going to get through life together because we have to learn how to live in coexistence. You know what I'm saying?
And then put them in slavery.
And then when the guys show up,
Probably hit them
they
over
get
the
put
head.
in slavery. Hit them over. That's exactly how it goes. Hit them over the head with the musket.
Yeah, sneak
Come in
attack.
with no weapons. They check their weapons at the door. You know what I'm saying? Take your bow and your hatchet, your tomahawk. Take all that stuff from you. Right? Now
Yo,
you're left unarmed. And then you look up. You in a circle surrounded by a bunch of white men, and they all got guns and knives and stuff. And it's either let us tie you up or say goodbye. So it says some of them were enslaved or killed. The ones that were killed were the ones that said, kill me now. And the ones that were enslaved were the ones that didn't want to die. It's that simple. So 1675, Massachusetts and surrounding colonies were in all-out war with the Wampanoag people. Because why wouldn't you be in war after this point, right? Now the natives are tired of going through this stuff. 1637 to 1675. It took us that long to decide, hey, we need to kill these white folk because they trying to kill us, right? We were so nice and so courteous to them that we didn't think that these people that came to our land that we've been so nice and kind to would turn on us like this. So it took us all this time to retaliate. And because it took us all this time, they were able to learn the land. They were able to learn the layout. We taught them how to live already by growing the corn and the crops and everything like that. So we basically gave them all the tools they needed to be able to beat us. I told you at the beginning they weren't good at survival, and then we taught them how to survive, and they used all of that stuff against us. Right?
Con.
So I think y'all get the point. Is let me see. Oh yeah, we need to read this last part too. Get the Captain Benjamin's church.
Con. Captain Benjamin Church tracked down and killed Metacomet. His body was drawn and
Metacomet was another native chief. Go ahead.
his body was drawn and quartered, and the parts, as Captain Church said, were left for the wolves.
So they
Right.
cut up the man's body and quartered it and left his body parts for the wolves. Right? Go ahead.
Metacomet's hands were cut off and sent to Boston for display.
Look at
And
that.
yeah,
But read the next part. Next part's worse. Go ahead.
and his head was sent to Plymouth, where it was set upon a poke on the newly declared Thanksgiving Day of 1675.
And they probably won't tell you how long it sat there, but his head was on that poke for 10 years. They kept a native chief's head on a spike for 10 years on display in the middle of a city in Massachusetts, Boston. Celtic City, right? All you Celtics fans.
This boy.
A dude's head was in the middle of the city for 10 years to strike fear into his people. If you turn on me, this is what's going to happen to you. Look what we did to your chief. All because he wouldn't convert to Christianity. This is Captain Benjamin Church, Boston captain and known Christian, right? And he's talking about sins. Keep reading, keep reading.
Right. Metacommon's son was to be killed because of the Puritans proclaimed that the offspring of the devil must pay for the sins of their father.
So look, now they're taking scriptures from our book and using it against us.
Man.
But they're not Israel though.
They're calling us the right. You killing these people and then calling them the deceiver and then say that they got to pay for the sins of their father, but you the one killed their father and cut his hands and head off for display for 10 years.
Man.
But you know, the white man got to make his money. So instead of killing Metacommon's son, instead he was sold into slavery, into the Caribbean. Because, you know, Esau's about them dollar bills, y'all. Right?
Yeah.
June 20th, 1676, the Puritans' governing council held a meeting to determine a way to, in their own words, express thanks for the victories in war with the heathen natives, right? And from that moment, they proclaimed June 29th as a day of Thanksgiving. And this was later changed by Abraham Lincoln, right? The so-called first black president who killed the Native Americans on Thanksgiving. When did Thanksgiving become a national holiday? Right? 1777. Says the holiday most are acquainted with came about during the American Revolution for Independence, when in 1777 things looked bleak for the American rebels against the British Crown. Mind you, they're talking about the American rebels and the British Crown, but somehow the natives are going to get involved in this, and that's what Thanksgiving's about, right? So, General George Washington, the wooden tooth cracker, sent out a plea to all that supported the cause of freedom for a day of prayer and thanksgiving. Later, as President Washington proclaimed the day of Thanksgiving on October 3rd, 1789, to be observed by all on November 26, 1789, not all the new states agreed and not all observed such a day. But while subsequent presidents and most, hold up, y'all tripping. What's going on? Okay. These damn ads. While subsequent presidents and most Americans did not continue the tradition, it was Washington's proclamation that spurred and guided the 16th president, Abraham Long-Nosed Long Hat Lincoln, to make a proclamation of the National Day of Thanksgiving in 1863. Right? Yo, these ads, bro. What is going on? Stop playing with me. Okay, slow. All right. This was a plea to all the Americans to have a day of prayer and thanksgiving during the bleak and trying time of our American Civil War. Lincoln copied Washington and made the proclamation on the same day of October 3rd, and for the observation to be the day, to be the same day as Washington had for Thursday, November 26th. And as we see, the tradition remains the same today, right? After this holiday was proclaimed by every president since Lincoln and observed on the last Thursday of November. I don't know if they're going to show you, but also what they didn't put in this article that was in the article that I used to read before that ironically no longer exists anymore because it had so much truth in it. That article told you the facts about why Abraham Lincoln decided to go with this day. Because on November 26, 1863, he had a war with the Native American Indians. I don't remember which tribe it was specifically, but he had a war and they won. And on that day, it was declared a day of Thanksgiving, which became the national holiday because it happened to be on the same day that Columbus had copied, or not Columbus, that Washington came up with before, which is how it was copied by Lincoln. So it wasn't just a day he came up with and copied. It's because he had a war, another war with the Native American tribe, right? And they ended up winning the war, and it became another day of Thanksgiving. Thanks God for giving us your land by killing your people. Right? So that's it on that article. Man,
It's
it's
crazy.
later. I was gonna read the other one, but here, let me see if I could find a way to show y'all what these articles are called.
Salakia.
What's up?
It's crazy that our people want to celebrate this holiday because, as you can see through history, during these time periods, it's like we was in slavery. While they was making these decrees, they was killing off our brothers, and the Southern Kingdom was in captivity. We was in the Southern states and in slavery, man. Like while all these laws and rules was being applied.
All right, hold on. We gotta answer some questions because I see Akima Lock is going crazy. These Negro only brothers don't understand nothing, bro. All right. So he says everyone in the world knows Native Americans have been redeemed. The white man been said sorry to the natives. Okay, now let me ask you a question, right? Because I'm a native, so I'm not gonna let Akmalak. Who I want to put the link in the chat, but it's getting late and I gotta be at work at 4:30 in the morning. I ain't gonna.
Put it on the top.
Yeah, listen. Here, I'm gonna explain something to y'all. Check this out, right? I'm. Cool. I gotta do this. Y'all off, man. He told me not to play no more video. I ain't gonna play. Look, I'm gonna show you the video. I'm gonna show it to you so you can go look the video up yourself. You can watch it. You can hear it from a Native American with long hair that wasn't in Africa with you. The type of conditions that they actually live in, right? This is from 1989. So if the conditions were this bad in 89, you know damn well they ain't changed in 2020. Right? Hold on, let me show this screen right quick. Let me show this screen. Because you Negroes is ignorant and I'm tired of it. 1989, American Indian activist Russell Means testifies at Senate hearing, right? What is he testifying? He's testifying on the terrible conditions of the Native American Indians in the places that they live, right? So this is the problem, right? Negro-only brothers that have no historical knowledge of the conditions of the Native American Indians, right? They say things like what Akmalak said. They say things like the white man has already said sorry to the natives and they have their own property, free college, etc. Right? Now, that's a damn lie. There is no free college for Native Americans. You get free college of education, but it's an education that isn't accredited by any university in the United States of America. They don't even get you a real degree. One. So is it really free college or is it just a school that you don't pay for that doesn't give you anything? Huh? Second, property. I know that you've probably never been to a reservation because niggas like you that just talk out the side of your mouths don't actually go do the research. You just talk, right? Excuse my French. Because I happen to be a native, so this is very personal for me, right? Because I have family that live in them things. So this is like you here. I'll drop the link. Real quick. This is like you saying this is like you saying the conditions in the hood ain't real or something like that to a white person who'd be saying well, the white man said sorry to the black guys. You have public housing, you have projects, you have all the worst places in the world to live. But the white man gave it to you, so you should be happy, right? You could go get a job. You could be a rapper. You could be Jay-Z, right? You could be Beyonce. You could be the president of the United States, Barack Obama. Come on, nigga. You could be anything in America that you want to be. Akmalak, right? Let me drop the link for you.
That's what he's saying, Adwan.
So since that's what you're saying, right? I'm gonna put it in perspective for you, right? So check it out. Since the Negroes got public housing. They got all the worst conditions and stuff. Y'all have HBCUs, brother. Historically black colleges and universities. Yeah. Where, you could get a scholarship for being black. Kamala Harris, the woman who's about to become vice president, she went to school for free at a HBCU, nigga. And she's a white woman. Come on, bruh. You don't own land? It's a whole city in Georgia, where I live, called Goshen.
Yep.
You know who lives in Goshen? Akmalak? Israelite. And guess what? It's their land, nigga.
Con.
Yeah, it's theirs. Yeah. There's natives that pay taxes, right? Natives don't get tax-free land. That's a myth. That's not true. That's why so many of them give up the check. My grandma gave up her check that she was getting from the government because there was no need for it. You still pay taxes and do everything like a regular person. It's like a Social Security check. Guess what? You basically get taxed for that too. That's why it's not much money. They just don't tell you that. So what's the difference in the circumstances? I'm asking. Akmalak, the link is there. He's here.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, right? Because I know you've never been to a reservation. So I just want to lay the facts out for you right quick, right? So you said they have property, which is not true, because the properties there are what they call trailers, right? If you've ever been to a reservation before, the projects in most cases actually are better conditions than the reservation.
They own those. They own those though.
Hold on, bro, because I'm not gonna let you talk while I'm talking. So they don't own those, right? There's reservations there's reservations with natives on them who don't own the reservations. They don't they don't own the houses and the shacks that they live in. Go ask one. I know you probably don't know none, but go drive yourself to a reservation, whatever state you live in. There's one there, I promise you. Go drive there and ask the people if they actually own the damn trailer. And if it's a trailer, you know how much a trailer costs? You could go to the freaking Walmart and buy a trailer for $10,000, bruh. That ain't much of a house. So even if they do own the trailer, it ain't much to own. They got water like the people in Flint, and guess what? They water been like that for more than a couple years. It's been like that since 1989 and before that, because the dude in 89 talks about the lead water. In 89, wasn't nobody talking about lead water in Flint in 89, because my dad's from Flint. I got family there. I know what the water used to be like and what the conditions used to be. It wasn't even like that in Flint, but it's been like that the whole time on the reservations, Negro. Right? So this is what I'm saying. You said they got free colleges. Name a free college that the Native Americans have. Right? I'm going to do you like we do the Christians. Right? They like us to say things about the Bible and stuff like that can't be proven. So name something pertaining to the scriptures, right? Or name a college, right? That's in real life that the natives have that they go to for free. Pull it up and Google it. It don't exist. You brothers talk out the side of your mouth, and the stuff you be saying is not true. I'll give the brother 5 minutes to come back.
Hey, Salaki.
Good.
Hey, Orion, can you get Obadiah 4? Yeah.
Yeah, some of them have no running water, but they're talking about, oh, well, they got land. They got this, that, and the third. You got projects. What's the difference?
Come.
Some of your projects, people can't even go in. If I go into one of the projects wearing the wrong color, I get killed. And I'm a nigga. Don't nobody see me walking down the street and say, oh, that's a Native American. No. Y'all heard Joel. Look at his face. Right? So
I get treated just like y'all. And I'm from the lifestyle. I know there's hoods I can't go in right now. Right? But there are hoods. We got blocks and they got reservations. What's the difference? Huh? The blocks is reserved for some people. You can't be on O block if you're not from O block, right? Huh? I'm just saying. So guess what? There's little countrysides reserved for Native Americans. But what's the difference? The block is hot. The block suck. It's killing on the block. It's poverty on the block. Drunks on the block. Prostitutes on the block. And guess what? It's killing on the reservation. It's drunks on the reservation. It's death on the reservation. It's poverty on the reservation. It ain't mansions and flowers like brothers think. But the ones that talk the most stuff never go and actually experience the stuff for themselves. They just talk. So the brother's back. Let me see if I could. All right. Now go ahead, brother. I hope you heard what I said. I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself. It looked like I can't do it. Yeah. Bro, you got to unmute yourself. Or because. Can you hear me?
I don't feel like he's talking to somebody.
So he like he doing two different
I
things.
got time for him to be talking to somebody. I gotta go to work.
All
right, that's it. I ain't got time. So maybe next week when he got better service, he could come on and say something. His junk keep coming out, but that's the facts, bro. This video right here, y'all go watch it. Since I ain't gonna get to talk to him, I can tell because I ain't got too much longer to stay on here. But next week, if the brother want to come on, we could talk about this. I have no problem with it. Right? American Indian activist Russell Means testifies at Senate hearing, 1989. Listen to the things he's saying. Right? Listen to the conditions he's saying that the natives are living in this time. 1989. 20 damn years ago. 30 years ago. 1989. And see how the conditions in 1989 for the natives are the conditions in a lot of hoods right now that weren't in those conditions in 1989. Because a lot of you are from a lot of these hoods that are real bad now that weren't that bad in 1989. He's going to tell you the conditions are that bad for the natives in 1989. And guess what? They've gotten worse. But the white man already kissed their ass. He already forgave them. He already said sorry to the Indians. Because they got a couple of acres that they can't do nothing on. Russell's going to tell you how they only allowed to have a certain amount of animals. Due to an act that the Senate passed, which is why he's at the Senate talking about the conditions. Right? So how they did anything to help us?
Salakia. Sorry.
What byword are they called? Natives.
Indians.
You know what Indian means? It means savage. Who wants to be called a savage? I'm a Comanche. Numunu Tekwapu. Not a native Indian. Not a native savage. No, that ain't what I am. That's a byword.
Read the other question. The one on top of that.
They got cattle and land. Okay, bro. Look, Goshen got cattle and land. So what's your point? It's brothers in Sparta, Georgia right now. I could show you with fringes on, with cattle and land, and guns and dogs and all that stuff. So what are you talking about? Come on, keep typing.
He said, what about the peace treaties that Esau gave to the natives?
Did any of the peace treaties last? We just read in the dang thing how they broke 3 of them in one freaking article, bro. Are you deaf, blind, or dumb? Which one is it?
He came in late.
Which one is it? They broke 3 in one article between 1623 and 1675. With one damn tribe. We was talking about the Wampanoag the whole time. 3 peace treaties with one tribe.
Oh my Lord. Yo, he's coming with public school information, like what he learned in school.
Everything I'm saying you can look up.
You can go back and watch the video.
Yeah, for sure.
They broke 3 peace treaties in 20 years with one tribe. One tribe. In 20 years, they wiped out one tribe. The Wampanoag didn't exist after Abraham Lincoln. It really was gone before that, because the tribe that Abraham declared wasn't the Wampanoag. They was already done. The whole tribe. The Wampanoag don't exist no more, bruh. There's no such thing as a Patuit Indian anymore. They do not exist. The ones that were left had to go and join other tribes.
Slacky.
Don't even exist. And you asking what byword they are. The byword is gone, bruh. They don't exist no more. How's that for a byword? Gone. Bye-bye. The byword is bye-bye. Come on, man. Y'all are wilding, bro.
Salaki, I got a question real quick.
What's up?
He said something about the treaties, the peace treaties or the agreements. That's another word for that Esau had with the natives, right? Okay, cool. Now, it's impossible to him that the peace treaties couldn't have been, broken. What about when we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule for our servitude over here? Where is that at? So that couldn't have been broken?
Hey, Akmalak, am I not us? Is Malachi not us? You know the natives look just like us before some of them got mixed with the white man, right? And when you get put on a reservation and it's only people that have been mixed with each other, you know the whole reservation going to end up looking like that, right?
Brothers gotta study for they speak, man.
You know, to keep your Native American check, you can't leave the reservation, so you got to keep mixing with the same people over and over and over again. As soon as you step off the reservation and get an address outside of the reservation, you have to give your money back. But Akamalaka don't know that, right? He said, what? Deuteronomy 28, 65 and 66 don't apply to them. Read Deuteronomy 28, 65 and 66. And then we're going to close it out, since brothers don't know the Bible and can't put 2 and 3 together.
What was the verse again? I'm sorry.
Deuteronomy 22, 65 and 66. Right?
28.
We didn't want to talk about 49 through 55 because you read that earlier. Somehow that applies, but 65 through 66 don't apply, right? Don't make no sense. So let's show you, Akmalak. Let's show you, brother.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65.
Right, we a Bible school, so let's school the man. Go ahead.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Yeah, okay. So keep reading. Read 66.
But the Most High shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou...
Man, I want to play what he said so bad because the things he said at the part I'm at, he's literally saying what the verse is saying, bruh. Literally. Go watch the video, Akmalak. Click the link on the video. Watch this. Go on YouTube right now and click this in and listen to him. I'm only 5 minutes into the video. All you got to watch is 5 minutes, bruh. 5 minutes. And he's going to actually answer what you think he don't fit in Deuteronomy 28, the whole damn chapter for that matter. 68 included. Because we read how they was put on slave ships in 1605, in 1614, in 1637, in 1675. Just the Wampanoag. Just the Wampanoag. 1605, 1623, 1637, 1675. That's one tribe. Went into slavery 4 times in 100 years. 4 times. It's people in Africa that didn't happen to. They got picked up one time and they never got to see the white man again. He went to another tribe somewhere else in Africa. These people got picked up 4 times. What are you saying?
Because he doesn't know none personally. That's what that is.
That's the facts. Man.
I guess because Judah got Black History Month, we clear too, huh?
Hey, and look.
Where's Native History Month? But I thought the white man was just gave us everything. Wow, we don't get to learn about our history 1 month out the year.
Right.
Huh? We get to learn about the atrocities that happened to the black man. Why they ain't telling you the atrocities that happened to the dang Native Americans? If they already forgave them, they already helped them out. They got what they need already. Explain it to me, bro. Put it in the chat. You type in scriptures that you know fit them. If we pull out all the scriptures that you posted, we're going to show that they fit the Israelites, who are the Native Americans.
He put about 6 in there too.
Hey, the Salaki, the same day, October the 12th, they changed the calendar. So what's known as Columbus Day is actually known as Indigenous Peoples Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like they put both those days on the same day and in honor of recognition of the.
Hold on. He said, "Are you telling me they fit Deuteronomy 28:66? I don't see no hashtag Native American Lives Matter. You don't see no hashtag Native American Lives Matter? Have you ever heard Brown Lives Matter? Because you know Black Lives Matter would be the Negro, right? You know what Brown Lives would mean?
Read the comments, I don't want. Go ahead.
You know what Brown Lives would mean?
Right.
Duh. All right. Say less. Say less. Listen up, buddy. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. Let me let this non-Israelite speak a little Hebrew for you first, right?
This is a traditional greeting of my people that I am bound to give, albeit it's a short version. What I said in my own language translated into English thusly. Hello, my relatives. I am an Oglala Lakota, and I come from our very sacred holy land, the Black Hills.
You never heard Brown Lives Matter ever? I will show you all the hashtags as soon as he finished talking. I'm going to Google it for you. Since you don't do no research, you just talk like all the rest of the Negroes that think like you.
Yellow Thunder Village is. My mother,
Let me fast forward.
who we are from, our clans, and we do this without ever saying our name. Anything spokesman for my people. And to fail, to be expendable, to be eliminated. I take you back in your history.
Y'all know who that is?
After the American Indian hostiles had been subdued and forcibly confined to Indian reservations.
He said what? Forcibly confined to Indian reservations, right? Not, oh, the white man helped them out and gave them what they want and they got their own land, they got their own communities. No, nigga. Read it again. What'd he say?
After the American Indian hostiles had been subdued and forcibly confined to Indian reservations, it took approximately 30 years, 1 generation, for us to adjust and become economically viable.
He said after they was put on reservations, they weren't even able to live on their own right away. Akmalak. He was speaking the Yiddish, bruh. He said kancha. You know what that word is? It means dedication, dude. It's only one language where you would say it like that. It's called Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash. But the brother said it took them 30 years, right? Because you lied in front of everybody in the chat board, in the comment section, and said that they got their own communities. The white man gave them help and all that stuff. He said it took them 30 years to even become financially stable after they got the dang reservations.
Oh my goodness.
To have casinos. Yeah. They have casinos and it still took them 30 years. Let's hear him talk about the casinos.
Contrary to what the anthropologists say and what we even ourselves are taught as Indian people. However, allotments were made smaller.
Allotments were made smaller, right? Meaning they don't own all the land that's in the reservation. They get told who gets what lot and how big it is.
Many lands were open to homesteading.
Right? Many lands were open to their own homesteading, but
were forced into reducing our livestock.
But they were forced into reducing their livestock, meaning even though they got land, there's only a certain amount of cattle and certain different livestock that they could even have on the land.
Nevertheless,
mind you, all the black people that got farms don't have no regulations like that. There's Israelites you can speak to in Georgia right now. Hit up Chief Ephraim and ask him if they tell him how many animals he could keep.
We made the adjustment again in less than half the aforementioned time. 15 years.
He's saying they've had to make adjustments. And it's astonishing that they've made the adjustments in the amount that they've made. He just said a span of 45 years.
Become economically self-sufficient again.
Right? Guess what? It took Negroes less than 45 years to make damn Black Wall Street. Because they had different resources and they weren't limited to nothing. How about that? Y'all was able to make Black Wall Street in 20 years because your resources was better than what they have right now. What are you talking about?
But once again, the American Indian was forced into reducing our livestock. The boss farmer concept was instituted. We were told what, when, where, how much, and how little we could grow.
So there you go. It's called the boss farmer contract. Because I know the brother never heard of none of this stuff. The Negro onlys don't do no research. They just talk out the side of their behinds and think it's their mouth. That's it. They literally got laws that the Senate passed where they can have a certain amount of livestock and land, bruh, on their own reservation. And you talking about the white man gave them money and stuff. Here's a dude right here talking to you. Telling you the conditions. In front of the freaking white man.
This applied to agriculture and our livestock. Again, we recovered in a time span of approximately 15 years.
And it took them more years to recover from that. He's giving you the time span. And they still in trailer parks. They got to have powwows 3 times out the year in one season, the springtime, just to raise money for their reservations. Through the festival activities and the people that come and spend money for the stuff that they sell there. That money don't go to them people individually. It goes back to the tribe because they don't make enough money to sustain themselves as it is. That's why they have powwows. It's not a get-together no more. Now it's a financial event to sustain the freaking community. Right? Exactly. Man.
We were so successful in our third recovery that the American Indians enjoyed the finest of economic times, while the rest of the industrialized world was wallowing in the Great Depression. It was then that President Roosevelt introduced the Howard Wheeler Act. better known as the Indian Reorganization Act, the IRA, which institutionalized the so-called tribal governments, which are not one of our institutions.
Which is how you're going to figure out about the casinos. He's about to go into it and explain to you how the casinos that you Negroes talk about, that they get money from, aren't even their institutions. Meaning they don't see none of the money. But let it come from the horse's mouth, as the saying goes.
And it is still foreign to us this very day.
This very day.
We have yet to recover. 45 years later, the IRA, Indian tribal governments, on their own initiative, began renewed efforts at reestablishing their sovereignty focused on the oldest profession
Here goes.
of American Indians. That's gambling. Bingo and other gaming operations has been, without exception, a proven initial success. Failure through mismanagement, politics, or litigation has been less than 15%.
But mind you, he said that it goes through the governments, the IRA, right? Which is not an institution of the actual Native American Indians. It's an United States government institution. So he's about to give you the statistics and the analytics on the institution and the amount of money that they make and their success rate. But he already told you that it's not actual natives that are seeing the success. It's the American government. Okay? Here he goes.
Showing a better than 85% success rate, the new Indian-sponsored gaming industry on reservations dwarfs success ratios of any and all other non-Indian.
So he said Indian-sponsored gaming organizations, right? Not Indian-owned, not Indian-run, Indian-sponsored organizations. Ak Malak. Boy.
Industries in America.
When the facts come out, brothers get quiet, huh?
Operations have proven to benefit the revenue gathering of all governments.
Oh.
County, state.
Wait, whoa. What'd he say? It only benefits the Native Americans? Huh?
Non-Indian industries in America. Gaming operations have proven to benefit the revenue gathering of all governments, be they county, state, or Indian reservation.
Meaning, it ain't the reservations that sing the money from the casinos. It's the state government that the casino's in. And the state officials that run the state government appointed IRA, Indian Reorganization Act or Association, which is not a Native American institution, but a Anglo-American institution. Do you get it now, brothers and sisters? Who think that these people have some magic lifestyle that the white man gave them? You hear a native right there telling you it ain't all bells and whistles. So that's all I got. I hope y'all understand now the facts about, Thanksgiving. I ain't want to show too much of that video because I ain't trying to get the channel strike. But the brother's gone now. And that's usually what happens when you bring out the facts to these Negro-only brothers, because they don't know anything. They just talk. Talk. And when you bring out the facts to disprove what they're saying from the horse's mouth, there's literally nothing else they could say about it. Except talk. So hopefully now won't be no more discussions about, well, they got casinos, they got mansions, they got this, that, and third. I don't know not one Native American in the NBA or the NFL. It's all niggas. And guess what? They got mansions, they got land, they got houses, they got businesses. So what you talking about? What's the difference? And guess what? They're getting to see the money. There's black billionaires. You've never heard of a Native American Indian billionaire before. It don't exist. How about that? But guess what? Y'all got Michael Jordan. Y'all got Floyd Mayweather. Y'all got Beyonce, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and his brothers y'all don't even know about that are black billionaires. So what are you talking about?
He was saying all that stuff like if you were rich, if you own livestock, if you own land, then you couldn't be an Israelite. That's how he was saying it. So that means
I don't want to just cut that.
you feel me, like, bro, what are you saying?
I mean, I can't be an Israelite then, because our people got rich.
None of us can be Israelites then. Like, there's Chinese rich people, there's white rich people, there's black rich people, Mexican rich people. He just proved that the Indian or so-called Indians ain't even, you feel. So how are you proving that they're not Israelites because they're rich or they have livestock? Just like he said, there's Israelite brothers with land and livestock. So is we not Israelites? That doesn't make any
Hey,
sense.
brother, you could say I'm delusional and all you want, Akmalak, but I got family that grew up on reservations. I could actually show it to you, right? There's a here, just to close out. Just to close out. Let me show you my great grandfather and his family, right?
Can I ask you a question while you're looking that up?
Go ahead.
He said us as a nation is poor. Yes, you're right.
Guess what? The natives as a nation is poor too. Because as I said, y'all have a higher net worth than us because what? Y'all got billionaires. Ain't no native billionaires, which means we're naturally poorer than you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. So hold on. Let me find this. Here it is. Here it is. Since the brothers think you're delusional, you're a Negro. Let me show you why I look like that. There's gonna be a Negro in the picture. See this guy over here? You see this picture right here? Huh? You see this? You see that right here? I don't know how much I can zoom in on it, but that's Clyde. That's my great granddaddy Jerome, right? That's his granddaddy the chief. That's his mama, and that's his grandmama. This my family, Negro. Okay? All right. So with that, we are the sons of the Israelites. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving, right? The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the people that descend from us scattered abroad are the Israelites according to the Bible, right? And it is our prayer and heart's desire that all Israel might be saved, that loves their brother as they self, that follows the law, statutes, and commandments, and that keeps the faith in the Mashiach Yahweh. So, Shalom.